Stop making a home out of what is hurting you. Just because you have adapted to it doesn't mean that it isn't hurting you. Familiar pain is still pain. Today's word is don't get comfortable with being in the uncomfortable. All praise to the Most High God. Love to the Mother. For real, y'all. Seriously, I want y'all to know, don't like feel like you're a failure if this is applicable to you, because they have drilled us the conditions, the programming of this dark matrix for a lot of us to be comfortable in survival mode, to be comfortable in unaligned situations. And a lot of this is subconscious programming. So even if you recognize that something is not aligned and uncomfortable for you, you're locked into it because your subconscious has been trained to become comfortable. And when you start trying to introduce change to get out of that pain or uncomfortable position, your nervous system is responding with a flight, most likely fight or flight response, because it's something different. It doesn't mean that the different is bad. It means that in your subconscious, the painful has become comfortable, even though it's actually either slowly or quickly eating you alive. It's all about what is behind the gate, what is under the surface, what is through the veil in terms of what is actually happening to you. And it's so much deeper than just your body, y'all. And yes, your body is very important, but your spirit, what happens as your energy is getting siphoned and leaked and you are getting cracked apart in not a good way. Sometimes when you hear spiritual influencers talking about getting cracked open, they mean it in a positive way where through pain you are actually remembering yourself, and that is how you transmute a lot of pain, and it's true. But the cracking open that I'm talking about is the training and imprisonment of your spirit through your mind. And as with most of my content, this is so real for me, y'all. It is a pattern that I actually have just released where I became so comfortable with expecting mistreatment, expecting to be undervalued, expecting to have to carry the field, but still somehow prop up other people even though they weren't contributing to it. And this is not just personal, y'all. This is in every regard. I really feel like this society and the generational curses in my family as a woman who grew up very much neglected was that I had to serve other people and not serve myself, not to attend to myself, and that I was expected to carry the field, to carry everyone, even though it was very overwhelming for me. And I felt like I was getting, consumed. My energy was to the point where my body started showing that. And I've been that way all my life, but I'm at a point now where I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to do that. So I recognized it finally. But do you understand the amount of shadow witnessing I had to do and really seeing my patterns and then taking a stand for myself, even though not many people around me supported me? I have a few people who stood by my side when I started recognizing the patterns and the cycles of overcaring, self-sabotage, and just continuously being bringing people in my field, even though that they did not need access. And I definitely was allowing those types of individuals to have longer access to me and my family, and also putting myself in situations or keeping myself in situations, even though I know that they were painful. I had resistance to breaking up out of that pattern for correction. But now I see the pattern, I know the correction is needed, and I'm taking steps every day to address that. And so I just want you to understand, if you are in a situation with a person, place, thing, like today, what I want you to do today is one, identify what are they? What are those situations? What are those people? What are those places where you know something is painful, but in order for you to get out of that situation, the thought of what you're going to have to do to free yourself of it is so scary that it overloads your central nervous system, where you might relapse back to, I should just stay in this situation just because it's not going to cause me as much problems. I'm not going to have to take on financial risks. I'm not going to have to worry about how my kids are going to react without, their father or mother, or, I'm not going to have a job. I'm not going to have an income. Like, I want you to think about those situations, and I want you to start really kind of journaling if you can. What are you afraid of? And then rather than just shutting yourself down and saying, I can't do it, for everything that you say that you're afraid of, I want you to then write out what are possible solutions. And if you need to go to AI to help you think through these things, y'all, do that. Go talk to ChatGPT, go talk to Claude, whoever. If it's a friend that you trust, what are some possible solutions? Because you will find that when you start asking these questions of things that you fear versus rather just pushing them away, but you actually sitting with it and you actually thinking through things, like, you will find that there are solutions that you just didn't pursue out of whatever resistance you have. And for me, y'all, where I got cracked open in a positive way is this lie that as a single mom, I couldn't be a good mother to my kids, that I needed a man. That fear kept on pushing me into loops and patterns where I was seeking a man to be a father to my children, no matter how uncomfortable it became for me. And I was willing to take on that discomfort and that pain so that my children would benefit. But it actually ended up, the reality of it was that all of us suffered for it, including that person that was in relationship with. So I'm just saying that's an example. And like recently, I just started because I have 4-year-old, soon to be 5-year-old boys. And I want them to be exceptional young men. And I continue to work with my girls, and so I'm doing things that I've never done before because out of shame or guilt, like where I'm like, I'm a good mom. You don't know what you don't know. So I've been reading, and like I have been thinking through, if I don't have a person, even though I am in a relationship, it's new though, but like, even though I don't have a person here with me to help me raise my boys, what is the support that I do have in my village? And if it's not in my village, who else can I reach out to? So I've reached out to the Boys and Girls Club of Chicago. I am also reaching out to men I know who are supportive to say, hey, can you mentor my boys? I'm going to get them involved in sports. I've reached out to the school as well for support. Like, I am asking for help where I have tried to over carry everything, where I thought I could just do it. Like, I have gotten so used to asking people to help me and then disappointing me that I started over caring and trying to do everything, work, be that support and just do everything. But I actually ended up dropping certain things because I was over caring versus relying on people to actually support me, trustworthy people who actually wanted to care to support me, not necessarily in my family. So I just gave you that as an example of something I'm really working through right now. And you can do it too. Don't lock yourself into a reality that you know is eating at your spirit. I hope that this message is helpful. I hope that it resonates. Shalane Tukai.